Hey guys, welcome to the series of unit unboxings for Age of Wonders Planetfall. Today we're going to be looking at the Vanguard Troopers. Alright, so for Vanguard Troopers, as you guys can see, I've got the unit card up on the top right and up on the top left, the production icon for these guys. So 40 energy, 150 production is really relatively cheap, and used effectively, these guys can really be very effective. And a solid sort of glue option to fill in your early and mid-game Vanguard armies. Positioning, map awareness, and understanding of some of the core combat mechanics are really critical to getting most out of this unit. Specifically line of sight, and we'll talk about a couple of the other mechanics as we look at their skills. So for the Vanguard Troopers, the assault rifle is their core attack. It's a range of 7, it does 9 kinetic damage, 90% accurate. It's repeating, meaning it can be used multiple times depending on how many unit or action points the unit has remaining. And it needs line of sight to be able to hit its target. As with any repeating ability, the key to using it or to getting the most out of them is to have a well-positioned unit that is only moving short distances so that you're using most of the action points inflicting damage versus moving around kind of pointlessly. Ideally, you're hitting targets with, in this case, low armor to get the most of that damage to happen. For the grenade, it's a range 3, 8 kinetic damage, 1 hex AoE. It's single action and single use, which means you only get one of them, and also as long as you have one action point, you can use this, but at any point you use it, it will end your unit's turn. The grenade ignores line of sight, so you can throw it over obstacles or barriers as need be. This grenade actually offers a ton of functionality, allowing you to stagger enemy units potentially, and also it has a demolisher ability, which makes it more effective, actually 200% more damage to obstacles on the map, which can be really useful. They have a defense mode, as you can see. All defense mode does, obviously, is kind of hunkers the unit down, similar to XCOM, I guess. Makes you harder to hit and prevents the chance that you can be flanked while you're in defend mode. But really, these guys, you don't want to be using defend mode too frequently with them. For steady aim, it's a passive ability. Basically, anytime your Vanguard Trooper is in cover, you'll be shooting more accurately, get a 15% ranged accuracy increase, and it synergizes really well with how you should be using your troopers. Right? You want them in cover, somewhere where they have a good visibility, good line of sight visibility to surrounding areas, and then let them get shots off with their rifles, basically. So the main core skill that I find is useful for troopers is Overwatch, a ranged Overwatch ability. And so what this is going to do, you have to aim it, and by aiming I mean you have to position your unit and tell it which way to face. So it'll cover a group of hexes based on which way it's facing, and what it will do is it'll shoot at any unit that moves into or attacks in this unit's line of sight if it falls in that boundary. So one thing to note too, since Overwatch attacks are also repeating, if you go into Overwatch with 3 action points, your guy will take 3 shots. If you go in with 1, he'll only get 1 off. So again, it just suggests that you really want to be well positioned prior to engaging your enemies with the troopers. For skill progression, Vanguard Troopers, really there's not much to speak of. You get small increments of health and accuracy as they go through the ranks. If you get all the way to Prime, as you'll see, you get an improved Overwatch, which gives you additional Overwatch accuracy, which is really nice. But by and large, kind of pedestrian increases to health and accuracy along the way. You can kind of see them here between Novice, Veteran, Expert, Prime. You always want to keep your units alive, but keep in mind, even in this case, right, an expert trooper is really only slightly better than a newly recruited one. So, I mean, it's a tier 1 unit, so they're not always worth, protecting to any real degree. Let's talk a little bit about tactical considerations for this unit. So, as we talked about earlier, the grenades, these can be used both offensively and defensively. Defensively, what I find one of the most useful uses of the grenade is to free up other allied units who are caught up by an enemy who is engaged with a melee Overwatch. So because you can stagger the enemy, that will break their defend mode or Overwatch modes if they're in one. So it can be extremely useful for that purpose. They do friendly fire damage, so you don't want to have big groups of your own soldiers pounded up. Otherwise, you may have to take some damage to free up an ally. Also note that the troopers, placing them adjacent to one another is bad because you're going to be more vulnerable to some of the AoE debuffs in the game, like blind and staggering and things like that. Those are all bad for you, obviously. Lastly, because of that demolition option on our grenades here, they can be really effective for breaching walls and other objects on the map to make sure that we've got good line of sight and movement options for other units, for allied units. And once you'll kind of get used to looking for it, you may find opportunities where you can even combine, you have an enemy unit who's in cover behind an object, and you can, with one grenade, you can not only remove the enemy's cover, but also stagger him out of an overwatch or a defensive posture and make it much easier for other units to clean up. So that's it. That's my unboxing of Vanguard Troopers. Hope you guys found this useful. I'm going to be doing more of these videos, and certainly feel free to comment or ask questions or provide any feedback if you guys have ideas on what else you'd like to see out of these videos. Thanks for watching.